once again to the Dragon's Lair, where we're going to continue reading from Convergence, Book 1 of the Dragon Within Saga in Chapter 4. And we're going to continue reading about Entelos, the Grand Wizard of the University. And just to kind of recap, we were just introduced to him, and he was just about to start his first class. Considering everything about his future when he was introduced to the world of wizardry by his mentor, Darkinian the Great. So here we continue on with Entelos. "Good morning, Grand Wizard," he heard the warm voice of his most trusted and longest friend say from the doorway to his study. "Yes, it is a good morning. And please, Ben Graco, of all the people who address me as such, you are the one who needs not," Entelos answered to the other wizard. "As you wish, Grand Wizard Entelos," said Ben Graco in an amused and taunting voice, causing Entelos to look up from his papers in a half-grin. "If I did not know you so well, I could potentially interpret that as an insult. Hopefully you will one day take my place so you can have your best friend treat you with the same manner of insolence." "But you are my best friend, Grand Wizard." "Indeed. So tell me, Ben Graco, how comes your study of food? Are you still finding it difficult to study what happens to the food once it is in the body?" Entelos said, changing the subject of friendly banter to the more serious and productive nature of his friend's latest area of study. Ben Graco entered the Grand Wizard's study and sat on one of the plush chairs. In appearance, he was quite the opposite of Entelos. Whereas Entelos was below average height, Ben Graco was rather above. The Grand Wizard was not skinny by any means, but he was thin. Conversely, Ben Graco was robust and full-bodied. Entelos' hair was short, cropped under his ears and dark, but the larger wizard's was a bright orange and fell well past his shoulders, with a thick long braided hanging from his right temple. They were equally opposite in facial hair, with Ben Graco wearing his beard full and long, mimicking the bright orange of the hair on his head, while Entelos was cut close to his skin, showing only the faintest shadow on his cheeks and chin. Interestingly enough, the study of how the body makes use of food has become somewhat of a moot point, really, replied the larger wizard as he sat down. "What do you mean, has become a moot point? I should think consumption of a magical signature could have effects even you have not considered yet. Look at us. We have lived lifetimes beyond those of the rest of the world. How this happens, we do not fully know. We just know that it happens, suggesting that releasing magic within the body alters its natural progression. Like it or not, Ben Graco, we have become entirely unnatural. Perhaps, Entelos, the unnatural aspect of our physical lives, having clearly been altered by magic into something beyond what those who cannot wield the talent could ever hope to become, has also had other effects upon us, as you suggest. And what if those effects have been all beneficial? Really, when was the last time you heard of a wizard becoming sick, or anything else that can readily be blamed on the magic we wield? Consider this. Have you yourself seen any ill effects of the talent? Because by all accounts, you wield the greatest portion and should, if you are correct with your concerns, be half insane or completely insane and living in the solitude in a dark cave on the top of a mountain somewhere," Ben Graco retorted as he adjusted his position to recline just a little bit further into the plush green chair. Ben Graco had always been a very studious wizard, but oftentimes would see only the benefits and never the challenges of wielding magic. While it is true that the use of magic has a numerous array of positive consequences upon the wielder, those effects were not applicable universally. Entelos himself was almost beyond the age of counting and had not suffered any of the normal declines associated with aging. His mind was yet sharp, and with his age came the ability to focus on multiple elements of consideration at the same time. He considered and calculated possibilities in a fraction of the time of those who cannot use the magic, and was able to see a much broader aspect of those possibilities. All but the most advanced people, including wizards, would incorrectly attribute most of these positive effects, besides the unnatural aging, of course, to the direct effects of maintaining a life of constant study. But Entelos knew that his ability to access the magical reservoir within was responsible for his, and that of all wizards, voracious thirst for knowledge. So any direct benefit derived solely from solely the effects of amassing a great wealth of knowledge could still trace its roots back to the talent. However, all of the effects one inherited because of the magic were the result of learning how to control one's own specific signature of magical residue. What Bagraco and the rest of the wizards, farmers, and various other administrators devoted to the new movement of magically enhanced food were ignoring was the effects the magical residue could and will have upon those who were never meant or equipped to bear prolonged exposure to it. What would happen to the child who was raised for years consuming a strict diet of food wherein resided a spell altering the nature of the very growth process of food itself? There has been some study into the effects of prolonged magical exposure to those who do not have it, but that area of study is grossly inadequate to make any conclusions, largely in part because there has been no means to gather subjects to study. You know I would never seek to limit your advancement of knowledge, nor would I seek to limit the benefit magic can have toward the world. All I'm saying is that to be careful. You must admit, as anyone must admit, that we have not studied this topic long enough to exhaust any and every concern. There are many questions still left to be answered before it should be put into practice. Bagraco, you are a great wizard. In the truest sense of its meaning, we have grown up together and progressed through the university together. We both sought to propagate the excellence of our future generations by seeking employ from the institution in which we were produced. We have known much of each other, and for a very, very long time. So please understand when I say I am unable to endorse the active implantation of magic within food. Upon hearing Intelos' statement, Bagraco shifted quite noticeably in his chair, almost standing up. Intelos, seeing his friend's agitation, emphasized as he continued, "As of yet. I will, however, endorse your continued research in whatever manner you choose regarding this area, as I believe it can and will lead to a wide array of new knowledge we have yet to understand, let alone master." Well, that's going to be a good place to end, right at the conclusion of their discourse concerning magically enhanced food. We'll pick it up next time. If you enjoyed hearing, in spite of my poor reading, if you enjoyed what you heard, please like, subscribe, and share. Check out my website where you can purchase a copy of the book itself, along with all my other books, right from my website. And until then, I've enjoyed this. Thanks for tuning in, and always remember to release your dragon within. Goodbye, and have a wonderful day.